Hello and welcome to Everyday Positivity's Island of Positivity here on Backchannel. I've said Everyday Positivity in the beginning already. Slightly different here today. I am without my radio husband. The unofficial Kate and Will is now just Kate today, just because Will is poorly. So if you've got things you'd like to say to send to Will, then please let me know. Obviously, as you know, you're here on Back Channel, so you can now watch, listen to, and chat live to your hosts like me by asking your Amazon Echo to just say, "Send love to Will." If you're not on an Amazon Echo show and it doesn't seem to work, then all you have to do is go to backchannel.tv and there you can leave a comment. So it's just you and me today. Stacey, I can see you in the chat. Marty, you're here as well. Welcome. Juicy Porcupine says yes, which I love. I love it when people give themselves interesting names. So make sure that you're using the chat. Make sure that you're chatting with me. Bayek, I could do with the company today. So we're here until 10 o'clock. And so I'm here until 10 o'clock and I've got all the usual stuff for you. I'm going to be giving you some good uplifting news because heaven knows we need some good news. I've also got the quiz for you so you can take part in that. And I'm going to be giving you an activity that involves chocolate. What's not to like, quite frankly? But first of all, I just want to go through this with you. Have you noticed that things are a bit discombobulated at the moment? Is it just me? Because my life seems to be quite bananas at the moment. Stacey, thank you, says chocolate is yum, yum, yum. Well, I shall show you this exercise we're going to do in a bit that involves chocolate. Woohoo! So basically, this was my weekend. So the last week, everything just seems to be going wrong, which I know is about how you focus on things. And I know I always say to you, make rainbows because there's sunshine and there's rain, and you don't get rainbows without both. So we're going through a bit of a rainy time. And essentially, last weekend I was meant to go on a course, and then but my friend's been struggling, so I thought I'll walk her dog. Went to put her dog back on the lead. He'd been so good the whole walk, but then he wouldn't go back on his lead. So I'm stood in the middle of this field yelling, "Jasper, Jasper," over and over again. And my friend Claire, who I'm with, says, "Just phone their owner and then they can come and pick you up." So I go to my pocket to pick up my phone and realize I've lost my phone. You know, when you find yourself searching, you look under things and you look in the pockets and you keep putting your hands back in your pockets as if the phone is going to magically appear. And then it didn't appear. And so my friend Claire is ringing and ringing and ringing my phone to find the phone. Meanwhile, I'm just yelling, "Jasper," and giving him cheese because that's all we've got at this point, trying to get him to come back onto the lead. And you won't you won't believe what in the end happened. In the end, someone answered my phone. I couldn't believe it. I'd lost it about over the other side of the field. So there was no way I would have ever found it. He finally got hold of this person. Claire went to go and get my phone, and then we were able to get hold of Tanya, and Tanya then was able to come and get her dog, who went to us straight away. So off I pootled to my barista course, and I thought, I can ease up today. Kristen has said, "Send love to Will." Thank you very much, Kristen, and welcome to the stream. So there I am thinking, right, I can relax, and I get to have my bath in the evening, and that's great. The following week starts, and I think this is going to be fine. By Wednesday, it's a disaster. By Wednesday, I've dropped so many balls, I'm ashamed of myself. I spent Wednesday kind of blubbing to myself, going, "Oh no, this isn't going well at all." Thursday, it's starting to become apparent that lots of people are feeling this way. I've got a client who isn't doing too well. She's got things going on in the background. She can't seem to pin something down. One of my team then gets COVID. We all work remotely, bear in mind. So it's really weird how Stacey says, "Oh, what's going on with Will? He's poorly." He's also got COVID. So so we've got COVID going around in my team, even though we all work remotely and have no contact with each other physically at all. Then two of the people that I'm recording with in my clients also go down with COVID. Then my PA says I've got a headache, and I'm thinking, "Oh, crikey, she might have COVID." And then there's other things going on in other people's lives that have fallen into play as well. And so on Friday, I'm thinking, right, please, can I just get to the gym? I've not been to the gym since Monday because Tuesday, Wednesday, I'd been away. Thursday, I was like, "You know what? I'm going to go to the gym at 5:30. 5:30 is the time." And I even because I was like, "No excuses. I've got a friend arriving on Friday evening. I've got my husband finishes. I'll be finished work by 4:30 by 4:30, which gives me time then to for if that runs over, I can then leave at 5 to get to the gym for 5 for the 5:30 class." So, I put my gym gear on in the morning. So I've literally got no excuses. There is no excuses but to get out and go to the gym. We finished the recording. We're kind of talking about how it hasn't gone as well as we thought it might have done, and we want to just keep on, working through it. And I'm consoling my client who I'm working with, and we're going, right, this is the plan. We'll do this. Don't worry. Let's just get into the weekend. We've all had a really tough week. I'm thinking I'm going to go to the gym now. I'm really excited. At exactly 16:57, four armed police cars turn up outside my house. They're dealing with an investigation 3 houses down, and they are blocking the road, and they block the road for the next hour and a half. I didn't make it to the gym. I was very glad for my friend to come up. And so then on Saturday, we had things with the kids, and on Sunday, Anna, who is in the background doing some lovely producing for me today, this is your moment to put that picture up that I sent you. On Sunday, have you got it? Message me if you don't. Is she with me? Is she with me? On Sunday, I made it here. Oh my goodness. What a lovely day to be. So we got to Lake Windermere and I managed to go paddleboarding with my friend. If you can't see the screen right now, we've put up a picture of me on Lake Windermere in my wetsuit and my life jacket and my black hat on. I always think when you see yourself from behind, it's always slightly alarming, I find. But this is my total moment of calm. Have you got the other picture as well? Because we've got the mountains in there as well. Producer Anna, who is here, who is usually Liv's producer, who's ace. Look at that. So I found my moment of calm. So I've got a really lovely flat lake with the mountains in the background, and I just took this moment to go, "Oh, thank goodness, I've escaped." Producer Anna says, "Was it cold?" Because it seems like it would have been so cold. Well, I have to say that because it's a lake, yeah, you alight your paddleboard by walking into the lake rather than off the side, and up to my calves were so cold they were in pain. You know, when you get that kind of, I don't know about you, but I have a pain response when it comes to being cold in two places. One is my feet, and one is behind my ears, just underneath my ears, behind my neck. Um, so I found that it was really good. But Wim Hof, who's the breath expert, would tell you that that's a good thing because actually using that cold and using that breath means that you can't focus on anything else but to get through that kind of pain of the cold. The water was about, I don't even know how much the water was. We were talking about the water in Greece in April the other day, and it was about 15 degrees. So I can't imagine that in March in the UK at about, I think it was 7 degrees, which I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit. Low. Anna, do the maths. Is what's 7 Celsius? It was 9 Celsius. It was in Fahrenheit. Can't have been a very uh, warm water experience. Stacey says I have a Raynaud's phenomenon. Okay, so it's 44 degrees Fahrenheit is what the air temperature was. So I imagine the water was a lot colder. That's why I was in my wetsuit. I have Raynaud's phenomenon. I've heard of Raynaud's. I don't actually get Raynaud's, but I do get this weird. It is a weird kind of response to the pain, I suppose. But my friend has Raynaud's. She gets the white tips of her fingers and the purpley kind of hands, or is it the other way around? I can't remember. When she's cold, and she gets that too. So my big question to you is, because I don't think I'd have made it into this week had I not got onto that paddleboard on that lake. It was that wonderful moment of my friend and I went, "Should we go?" She went, "I brought my paddleboard." I went, "Let's go." And we had to drive for an hour and a half to get there. And there's this moment on the M6 going north, which is like the freeway into up towards Scotland from Manchester, where I call it the Gateway Hill. There's this big looming mountain that appears, and you drive past it, and you're in the Lake District, and you can go to the Dales as well, the other direction if you go slightly east. And it just felt like, right, let's escape an hour and a half's journey to get to the lakes. And it was beautiful, clear sky, clear water. Everything was kind of just blue. It was really, really lovely. So, when life is getting you down, what is it that brings you peace? What is it that brings you calm? Because the funny thing is that I thought it would end this week, but we've got 2 people down with COVID in the team. We've got 2 people that more and more people seem to be getting poorly. People that I'm trying to deal with and do stuff for have also got are also unable to do things, because they're poorly. So we've got milder, hopefully, cases of COVID going round. Um, so it just feels a little bit hectic and crazy at the moment. Everything is good in general, but, it's that feeling of things are getting busy. A friend of mine said, she lost her social media person at the end of the week just really suddenly, and then, she got ill, and then it just when things just feel like they're going wrong, you have to just kinda go, "Oh, of course they are. Of course they are." So what is it that brings you calm? Don't forget that you can ask Backchannel to say and then give me what brings you calm. So it might be, "Eliza, say, I love going to the lake." Stacey has done it. She said, "Last night there was a thunderstorm and my dad had to call me." And I'm guessing that the dad phone call was what kept you calm in that thunderstorm. Your dad was your thunder buddy. That's what they call it, isn't it? Your thunder buddy. So all in all, it was a bit of a wonky week. So I'm hoping that it will get better, and I'm hoping that Will get better. And Kristen, thank you very much for your message. If you have a message for Will, please pop it in the chat and I'll pass it on to him. He is on his way to getting better. He phoned me yesterday and said, "Oh, I'm in the right state, but I think I'm on the mend." So that's good. I just keep coming with me. Come with me. What is it that makes you calm? Stacey says the way I look at it is that a dad is the main source of help. You see, we've all got that person in our lives that helps us to feel calm, right? Helps us to feel safe. And I have to say, last Wednesday, I was with a couple of business owners who helped me to feel safe enough to be able to work through the issues that I was dealing with. Right then, so with all that in mind, Sunday was the first day of spring. And as you know, I do a podcast called Everyday Positivity. It's a daily podcast, which is a nugget of delight that I hope will bring you joy. Just like Kristen finds her peace in knitting and spinning yarn. Thank you for your message through Backchannel. Oh, I actually have a spinning wheel out right now. We'll come back to that. Keep it there. Keep it there. We'll come back to that. But what I want to do right now is I want to play you the episode that went out yesterday here on Everyday Positivity, because you know what? Things just start fresh and we go again. Off you go, Anna. So today is, I guess, the official start of spring. And I love spring because it brings about that feeling of new beginnings. The flowers that pop through the grass and say hello, the daffodils, the crocuses, the snowdrops. The days feeling longer, the mornings feeling brighter, the sun shining through and the sky feeling bluer. There is a joy that comes with things that are new. Our brains love new things. It sets off all the right hormones for us to feel good. There is an effervescence in the air that says, right, we're awake now. Off we go. Let's go and enjoy the world because the sun will shine. I hope it's shining where you are right now when you're listening to this, either today or in the future. So today, I want you to let your brain be excited about new beginnings and new prospects. I want you to be excited about starting something new. Maybe the last few weeks have felt a bit messy. Mine certainly have. But in the process of going through that messiness, I've gone through the process of, right, new things, new solutions, better ways. And let's let this week be the same for you. So find the joy today in something new, or find new joy in something old. Whatever it is, enjoy the new beginnings of spring. And I got to enjoy the new beginnings of spring by getting on that paddleboard and getting out, reminding myself how much I loved being on the water and being on the lake, which was just so lovely and wonderful. So this week has now become the week of, well, of course it's broken, or of course it's not working. And I've decided to let go. Yesterday morning, in fact, when it was all kind of starting to clatter again, and I was thinking, oh goodness, new beginnings are starting, which is lovely. And then people were phoning in sick, or something had meant that they couldn't get to the couldn't get to the meeting that we had. I went into the shower and I put on my lovely new Bluetooth speaker, which is in my mirror, and turned the radio on, and I had that wonderful moment where the radio was playing the song that I needed to hear, which was, would you believe it, the Beatles' Let It Be. Let it be, that one. There will be an answer, let it be. I found myself singing at the top of my voice. And so just decided that this week I just have to go into it going, well, whatever, we'll just drop some balls as we go. We're just going to have to deal with it because it's that busy. And I'm trying to be three people all at the same time because of the illness that we're experiencing. But then brilliant people like producer Anna come and step in and help me out so that I can actually make it all work. Kristen says, I actually have my spinning. So I asked you, what is it that gives you, where do you find calm? Where do you find peace? For me, it's on a lake. For Stacey, it's calling her dad in a moment of panic. For Kristen, she says it's knitting and spinning yarn. Now, Kristen is a regular to the program. You'll know her here on Positivity Island as the lady who likes to knit socks and has a very big white dog that looks like one of the dogs out of Game of Thrones. And she's a wonderful human. But what I didn't know about Kristen was that she enjoyed spinning yarn as well. Now, I have a spinning yarn story that is not the Sleeping Beauty story. My grandfather, Grandpa Cocker, was a carpenter and he used to make spinning wheels. Can you believe it? So he used to use the lathe and he'd create spinning wheels. So for a long time in my childhood, I've got these spinning wheels that were kind of randomly placed in my, with the foot pedal and everything, randomly placed around my family's houses. So one in my uncle's house and one in our house. I don't think any one of us actually knew how to use it. They just were more like decorative pieces. And so when Kristen sends a message saying, I like knitting and spinning yarn, and then says, I actually have my spinning wheel out right now and have been spinning and watching. Hi, Kristen, spinning and watching. It makes me very, very happy. How exciting. And I'm actually now spinning my dog Blue, the Great Pyrenees' hair right now. This is incredible. I have this lovely view of you, Kristen, sat spinning the hair that you've taken from the dog. It sounds like you've stripped him of his fur. I imagine that either you've clipped him or he's molted and you just kept or you've brushed him down and kept the fur. Because that's what you do, isn't it? You use that brush as well to kind of really thin it out. But as I said, Blue is a massive, massive dog and his fur is really, really long. So I imagine that the wool it creates, gosh, is it really furry? Is it like mohair? We were talking about wool the other day and I was saying about how it makes me itch. How amazing to be spinning yarn out of your dog's fur. How very unwasteful of you. Unwasteful. That's the word I am looking for, isn't it? Yeah. Stacey says, I am eating and watching. What are you eating, Stacey? Maybe save some of that food for the activity I've got coming up for you. So without Will, we're without a bong. And I really want to do for you the good news that we've got. So don't forget, before I start all the good news, because there is some lovely good news. Stacey's eating pancakes. Amazing. Before I start the good news with you, don't forget that you can take part in Backchannel today. All you have to do is open Backchannel, obviously, and then ask your Amazon Echo to say what it is that you want to say. So Stacey would have said, Eliza. Note how I've changed her name so that I don't implode the space-time continuum. Eliza, say pancakes. And then I can see pancakes on my screen. And I think you might even be able to see it too. So it's good chit chat between everybody in the group as well. Kristen has an update on the dog fur wool situation. Kristen gathers the fur by brushing and getting his undercoat. It's a crazy project for the kids of a friend's first grade class. They love Blue, so I'm making them all some yarn. Oh, this just gets more idyllic. So it's like we're being very unwasteful. We're utilizing all the resources we have around us. We're brushing a dog and making wool out of its fur. I mean, amazing. All for the kids' school projects across the road. Oh, do you know what? That's such a beautiful thing. And I hope, from where I'm sitting, from where you're so from where I'm sitting, all I can think is, oh, Kristen, I love how much time you have. I'm envious. I'm coveting your time. Anna says, uh, producer Anna says, I know she probably lives in a modern home. Kristen lives in a modern home, but I'm imagining a fairy tale cottage sitting by the hearth spinning yarn. Now, I know that Kristen does live in quite a modern home, but I am actually imagining this too. And I'm also imagining like little bluebirds just sitting on the window ledge saying hello. You've literally, in my brain, Kristen, turned into Snow White. Stacey says the word you're looking for is, I'm hanging on your every word, babe. So I'll wait for that to come through before we start the good news. Right. So every single time you appear on Positivity Island, I like to give you some really good news, because you know what? Every time you watch the news, there's more to an and finally story. So let's do all of these lovely bits of news. So, news story number one, bong. 2/3 of Brits love the mood boost they get when doing something eco-friendly. Now, we've just experienced this right now, because as Stacey said, the word we are looking for is recycling. So a poll of 2,000 adults found they take pride when buying products that reduce their impact on the environment, and when washing out tubs to reuse them, as well as disposing of food waste in their very own compost bin. And 1 in 5 want to make refilling their products and pantries a priority for the year ahead. In fact, over half, 53%, would use refill shops. Why is this? Why is this, do you think? Because we've just got all this spiritual, beautiful joy from thinking about Kristen brushing her dog, getting the fur off the dog and turning it into yarn for knitting with. Kristen, what are you going to make with the dog yarn? What could we make with the dog yarn? How much yarn do you actually get? And how much do you need to make, say, a hairband? Or a glove? Or a sock? A pair of socks? You could be wearing blue. That would be so good. And then I've got like a million questions like, blue's dog fur, do you have to treat it to keep it for a long time? How does it work? But as Stacey said, the recycling part of this is really, is the bit that I think people love. I mean, between you and I'm pretty sure that most of us get quite angry with our plastic box drawers. There's always boxes, there's always lids, but none of them match up or there aren't enough, right? That's how it goes, isn't it? That's the law of Tupperware. But whenever I have finished my meal and I put my food for tomorrow's dinner or to save, whenever I put the food into my plastic dishes that I've kept and washed, I get a sense of self-care, of love, of, joy. Kristen says that the yarn is going to be plied with blue wool. It's just going to be yarn plied with blue wool, oh, with sparkle, and then divided up so all the kids get a few feet of blue fur mixed with the blue wool. Blue fur being the dog blue, mixed with the blue wool being the colour blue. And Stacey says sometimes you don't need to match, you need to make. That's true. Sometimes you have to like make a little cover for yourself on your Tupperware boxes. But I feel really like I've done something good for myself and for the planet. And I think that sense of connection that you feel when you do go through that recycling process is probably the reason why we feel so good when we're doing something good for the world, something eco-friendly. What is it that you do that makes you feel that joy? That eco-friendly process. Mine's definitely filling up the Tupperware with food, reuse the food. And I really love those companies or organizations that if I was going to volunteer more, I think I would do, I would probably go and volunteer at a food waste company or something like that, where I could cook some food in a Ready Steady Cook kind of way. Anna will tell me if the show is called Ready Steady Cook. It's when you turn up, it's a competition, two people up against each other get given a bag of random food and they have to make something out of it in a space of time. I'm sure you've got that format. It won't be called Ready Steady Cook. Okay. News story number 2. Teenager goes from employee to owner at coffee shop. Oh, hang on a minute. Is it called Ready Steady Cook? It's Ready Steady Cook. Everyone calls it Ready Steady Cook. Hang on. Chopped on the Food Network is really similar. There you go. That's what it is. Okay, so teenager goes from employee to owner at coffee shop. Chloe Campbell was 15 when she started waitressing. She said, last September, I was speaking to the owner about having my own cafe, and she said, you could just have this place. So I took the offer. My mum and dad are very good and advise me on how I should be doing things. Hopefully, when I'm on my feet a bit more, I'll be changing a few things. I love that. Well, she's in growth. She's feeling a bit like me right now, going, crazy times. So how old is she now? Oh, check this out. I've got no scroll. My mouse isn't working and I've got no scroll bar, so I've got absolutely no idea what this story says. How do you make something oh, maybe down. Ah, down. Down worked. Okay. Uh, how old is she now is what I want to know. She saved enough to take it over and the lease is paid monthly. I've always been a good saver. I've spent what I've needed, like on car insurance. So she must be older now. She must be in her 20s now. But I love that she has six very good employees of various ages. The cafe sells breakfast and lunch as well as coffee and sweet treats. We have a lot of regulars, she said. Everything is made here. Our cakes are very popular, especially the jam, the strawberry tarts. Oh, I love a strawberry tart. We have a lot of regulars. I've done that. As for expansion, she said, if the opportunity occurs, I definitely would. Asked what it's like to be the new owner, she said, I don't think I'm too bossy. Oh, that's so funny. Um, so, oh, that looks great. Oh, the whole thing looks really lovely. If you've got the article, you can put the photo up, Anna. It's absolutely fine. I don't know if you do. If you don't worry. But what I love about this is this kind of young person. I think sometimes, I think sometimes we're led to believe that the dream is far away. Um, I read this book called The Good Shepherd, I think it's called, or The Shepherd's Truth, or something like that. And the first page blew my mind because he's talking from a point of view of being like 14 in a school, having to do his maths. And the teacher talking about, if you do this, then you could be like an astronaut, or you could move to London and do this amazing thing and have this big dream. And then he's like, I just know I'm going to be a shepherd. I'm going to look after the sheep on the farm that I work on now because it's my dad's farm, and I'll be taking that over. And then I've been taking over from my grandfather. And I really love that kind of closer to home, um, that closer to home dream. Do you know what I mean? I think this touches back to Kristen and her blue wool, blue being the dog. Um, Hello, Rockstar Spud on YouTube. I've got a nice little wave and a hello. And Stacey just says meow, meow, meow. I love that. I think that's what we've got to today. So maybe you meant wow, wow, wow. But how amazing is it to be 15 and start somewhere and then own the cafe and become the master of your own destiny in that way? And expansion could come when she feels like it, whenever she's ready. I think that's a really wonderful story. Okay, story number 3, good news story number 3. Oh, yum, yum, yum. Stacey meant yum, yum, yum. More cake. Always could do with more cake. Okay, so Chicago businessman is giving away $1 million in free gas. The Chicago businessman Willie Wilson donated $200,000 in free gas across the city last week, and this week he's donating $1 million. Every vehicle at participating gas stations received $50 until all the money was exhausted. That's a pun, isn't it? Exhausted. About 4,000 vehicles were expected to get their fill. The need among the community is so great, Wilson said. Soaring gas prices have caused a hardship for too many of our citizens. I filled the car the other day and it cost a lot more than it used to. And a friend of mine said that's a pair of shoes. It's quite expensive, isn't it, to start filling up your petrol at the moment, or filling up your gas. And filling up my gas is one of my least favorite jobs. I think I've told you before. In terms of jobs around and chores that people hate doing. Yeah. Getting gas is my least favorite. In fact, to the point where I stay in the car for as long as I can. We came back from paddleboarding. We were talking about this, and my friend was like, "I like to attempt to see how far I can get." And she said, I've got to the petrol station, to the gas station with 1 mile showing on the clock. I was like, "Babe, I've got to zero." I had to take a photograph. I just let it run out as far as I can because I just find the process of getting gas so dull and so boring. Hello, Hilarious B, Nikki, and Eleanor, who have all joined the stream. Thank you for your big hi, Hilarious B. I hope you are hilarious as well, giving yourself a name like that. If you want to take part in the show today, don't forget that you can speak to me directly live through your Amazon Echo if you are watching and listening on Backchannel. All you have to do is ask your Amazon Echo to say hello, and I'll get a hello at my end. Disha joined the stream as well. And Gail, nice to have you all on board. We've been doing a load of good news because this is Positivity Island, where we like to try to give you some good news in the world so that you are in a good place for your day. I do a podcast called Everyday Positivity, and it's a daily podcast. It's only about 3 minutes, sometimes 5, depends how yucky I'm being. And meaning chatty. And as part of that, it's the idea is that it helps you with your mindset. Because when you're in a positive state, you make good decisions. I know that last week, when my anxiety was flaring and I was juggling and struggling, that I was like, I look back on some of those days and I go, what was I thinking? And that's because my anxiety has just taken over, or the stress of the days have taken over. And that's when you know you've got to stop and you've got to be calm. So I asked you at the beginning of the show, what brings you calm? What is it that makes you feel calm? So for everybody who's just joined in, so Hilarious B, hello, Gail, Disha, Eleanor, Nikki, if you could tell me, what is it that makes you calm? What do you, when you want to be calm, what do you do? Where do you go? What's your go-to? Stacey said she called her dad. Kristen said she likes knitting and spinning yarn. I got on my paddleboard and went to a lake. I didn't paddleboard to the lake. I got in the car, took my paddleboard with me and got on a lake on Sunday, and it just kind of replenished my need to connect with nature. There is nothing better than being at the bottom and looking up, because that's where the lakes are, right? It's very, when you're in a lake, you're pretty much at the bottom looking up. Hello, Briscofer. Nice to have you on board as well. There's lots of mad names in the feed today. I love it when that happens. Okay. So, and finally, is always a bit of Dolly news. Dolly Parton is the patron saint here of Everyday Positivity and is the queen of Positivity Island. Now, this is really interesting. I don't know if you saw this story. Dolly Parton got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I'm just going to pull it up so I can get it right for you, so it's not just me just talking about it. So here's the actual statement. She got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, there's always a load of controversy over the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, isn't there? It's like, have they let enough women in? I think we found out the other week through the quiz that Aretha Franklin was the first woman to be entered into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But Dolly, in a social media statement on Monday, she asked the hall to withdraw her name from the 2022 ballot. What she said was, I don't feel that I have earned the right. I really do not want to want votes to be split because of me, so I must respectfully bow out, she said in a statement. I do hope that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame will understand and will be willing to consider me again if I'm ever worthy. This has, however, inspired me to put out, hopefully, a great rock and roll record at some point in the future, which I've always wanted to do. What did she say? My husband is a total rock and roll freak and has always encouraged me to do one. I wish all of the nominees good luck and thank you again for the compliment. Rock on. She's extremely flattered and grateful. She doesn't feel that she's earned the right. I think that's because, and I'm reading into this, that she hasn't really made a rock album. She's made a country album. And this is the thing, isn't it? We still find this problem when we discover that you know, we're in labeling the genre of music. So the genre, I feel like she is quite rock and roll, but I think what she's saying is, not now, guys. Let me actually make some rock and roll, and then you can put me in. What I do like about this is I've done this recently. I've pulled out of some work because I'm like, does this really align with my values? And I think what she's saying is, I don't feel like I've done a rock and roll album. And therefore, if I've not done a rock and roll album, why am I being entered into the Hall of Fame? And why am I making this unfair to other people? So I love that she's kind of really stuck to her values there and pulled herself through. This says Dolly is a badass. She is a badass. This has become the name. I wonder if this has become a name on the uh, on your title. So I'm just going to call you this for now. I usually just forget to breathe. Yeah, it's just you forget to breathe when you're panicking. So that calm place is to remember to breathe. Oh, thank you. You're radiating positive energy. I feel vibrations all the way over here. Thank you very much. Okay. Right then. So, Anna, are we ready to do the quiz? Usually will take the quiz and run it and ask me questions. But this at this point, I'm just going to read off the screen in front of me. Ah, Anna's been messaging me and I haven't noticed. Thanks, Anna. She's pulling it up. Anna is our wonderful producer, the wonderful producer today, because Will is suffering poorly, and I'm hoping we'll be back on Tuesday. No, Thursday. I don't know what day it is. Look, that's how crazy the week is already. Anna, I'm just going to read what you do to bring yourself back to calm. Producer Anna does cross stitch. She's very welcome here, isn't she? Producer Anna does her cross stitch and puts on a show until I mess up and have to rip out a ton of stitches. Now, crochet, I do crochet, and it's the same thing with that. But what I tend to do is instead of seeing it like ripping it out and having to do a ton more stitches, I think of it as a great metaphor for life, which is we just undo it and we do it again. So, okay, it's not a problem. Producer Anna crochets as well. I get distracted or miscount. Derp. Well, I know. I find that if I'm watching telly and I want to crochet, which I presume are not allowed, Kristin will be the person who tells me that whether I'm allowed to crochet and watch telly at the same time. But when I'm crocheting, I have to do something that is quite mindless if I'm watching telly at the same time or if the telly's on. So I can sort of have this mindless stuff going on. Whereas with the crochet that has to be look good, it sometimes needs me to count. And so I don't tend to get it done because I need to just decompress more than that. Right then, look at this. Rockstar Spud is actually Gav on YouTube. Hi, Gav. Thank you for being here and keeping me company. Gav also is poorly, aren't you, Gav? If it's the Gav I think it is. If not, sorry, wrong Gav. Okay. So, guys, should we do the blooming quiz? Question number 1. Which country produces the most coffee in the world? Is it A, Kenya, B, Ghana, C, Mexico, D, Brazil? If you think it's A, then all you have to do is ask Backchannel to say A. So you go, Eliza, say A. If you think it's Kenya. If you think it's Ghana, Eliza, say B. If you think it's Mexico, Eliza, say C. If you think it's Brazil, Eliza, say D. Now, Anna has all the answers. I have no idea. What do you think it is? Help me out here. So I think you would instinctively go for Kenya. But then I think Brazil's quite big. So it's probably Brazil. So Kristin and Stacey both say D, Brazil. Anyone else going to take part? Anyone else? All you have to do is ask your Amazon Echo to say D. Your Eliza, say D. Or if you're on YouTube, pop it in the comments. Or if you're on the Facebook group, pop it in the comments. Or comments. Or on backchannel.tv. We've got Gav saying A. Oh, Anna's already jumped us over. It's D, Brazil. Gav has been poorly as well, struggling, but I'm feeling better than I did on Sunday, so winning. Good. I'm glad everyone is bouncing back. The thing is, next week's going to be just really busy, isn't it? Okay, next question. Who was the first Disney princess? Now, I did not know that we were going to be talking about this when I mentioned that we now are viewing Kristin as Snow White. So, who was the first Disney princess? Was it A, Rapunzel, B, Snow White, C, Ariel, D, Mulan? Do we mean chronologically in story or in film? I think we mean in the films as they came up. Gav is saying B on YouTube. If you think it's Rapunzel, ask your Amazon Echo to say A. If you think it's B, it's Eliza. Oh, sorry. If you think it's Snow White, it's B. Oh, if you think it's Snow White, Eliza, say B. If you think it's Ariel, Eliza, say C. If you think it's Mulan, Eliza, say D. Stacey says Snow White. I think it's Snow White. Gav thinks it's Snow White on YouTube. Let's go. B, Snow White. Ding! There she is. The lovely, wonderful Snow White. I bet she doesn't did never actually, did yarn, span yarn, from a dog. Dog's fur, like Kristen is. Okay, next. What is the capital of small letter Spain? Spain with a capital letter. Okay, this one should be quite easy. Is it A, Madrid, B, Barcelona, C, Granada, and or D, Seville? Oh, Kristen says that Snow White's release was in 1939. Good grief. That's nearly 100 years ago. It is officially 83 years ago. 83 years ago, yeah. Gosh. Okay. What is the capital of Spain? Is it A, Madrid, B, Barcelona, C, Granada, D, Seville? If you think it's Madrid, Eliza, say A. If you think it's Barcelona, Eliza, say B. If you think it's Granada, Eliza, say C. If you think it's Seville, Eliza, say D. Everybody is saying A. Kristen says A. Gav says A. Stacey says B. I think I'm going to go A. What is it, Anna? Let us know now. It's A, Madrid. Has anyone been to Madrid? I've never been to Madrid. It does look very European there, though, doesn't it? Very flat skyline. We don't get very high skylines. A bit like LA doesn't have a very high skyline in Europe. Okay, I've got the yawns. I'm really sorry. Question 4. Where would you find the world's oldest forest? A, China, B, Australia, C, Ethiopia, D, United Kingdom. That has stumped me. The world's oldest forest. If you think it's China, say Eliza, say A. Australia, Eliza, say B. Ethiopia, Eliza, say C. United Kingdom, Eliza, say D. So Gav says C. Stacey says B. I'm even wondering if it's. I was going for A or D. Would China have the oldest forest? Or would Ethiopia? Well, Ethiopia, I don't know. Kristen's saying C. Okay. Well, maybe I'll go with the majority on this one, Stacey. Stacey and I are well, Stacey, I'm half an answer because I'm going it could be China or it could be United Kingdom. You're saying Stacey's saying Australia and Kristen and Gav are saying Ethiopia. So let's go C, Ethiopia. Australia, Stacey, you were right. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. I'd quite like a bit more information on the oldest forest in Australia. Okay. I'm just making a note there that we need more information on the answers. Sometimes I get the answers and I go, "Oh, it'd be really nice to do like a QI style." And this is the facts. Little script for the afterwards. Okay. Question number 5, the 5th and final question. Oh, look. Producer Anna has absolutely come to the rescue. So what was the last question? The oldest forest in the world is in Australia. Sitting in the northeast region of Queensland, it is now the Daintree Forest. The Daintree Forest is now at the ripe old age of 180 million years old. That's right, it's 10 million years older than the Amazon. Oh my goodness. That's really, I love that. Thank you, Anna, for that. Okay, what German city was Ludwig van Beethoven born in? Roll over Beethoven. Which German city was Ludwig van Beethoven born in? Was it A, Cologne? I read that and went Cologne, Cologne, Cologne. It's Cologne. B, Munich, C, Hamburg, D, Bonn. Is it A, Cologne, B, Munich, C, Hamburg, D, Bonn? If you think it's Cologne, say A. Eliza, say A. If you think it's Munich, Eliza, say B. If you think it's Hamburg, Eliza, say C. If you think it's Bonn, Eliza, say D. Okay, so we've got Gav on B for Munich. We've got Stacey and Kristen on C for Hamburg. And because Stacey got it right last time and we all got it wrong, I'm going to go with Stacey, who says it's C. Hamburg. What is it, Anna? Oh, we were all wrong. It was D. Bonn. Is there any information on that as well? Now that you've got Speedy Lady. So Ludwig van Beethoven was born in Bonn in what year? Who knows? Here it comes. She's going to find out any second. She's going to be a good old copy and paster. Producer Anna is on the case with Ludwig van Beethoven. He was born in the city of Bonn, the Electorate of Cologne, and a principality of the Holy Roman Empire. He was born in 1770 on December the 16th. Oh, Sagittarian. What was that? Gav's saying, if you'd have said Mozart, I'd have been all over that. Know your composers. So Beethoven was born on or about December the 16th, 1770. Well, you've got to be clear about whether it's on that day or not, because if he's a Capricorn, that's completely different, isn't it? So Sagittarian in the city of Bonn in the Electorate of Cologne. So whoever said Cologne, that was half right. A principality of the Holy Roman Empire. It's a good picture of Beethoven, isn't it, that? There's a picture, a painting on the wall on there. And interesting because often the deeper you get into paintings, the features of people aren't necessarily always there. And that's a really nicely featured photograph that we've got there of him. Photograph? Painting. Okay. Let's have a think about now what it is that we need to do to remain actively positive this week. This week's exercise involves chocolate, and I've nicked it off a mate of mine because I thought it was such a lovely exercise. I work with a presenter who does a podcast called, currently does a podcast called A Truth Universally Acknowledged, which is very famously the first line of Pride and Prejudice, the novel Pride and Prejudice. And she's trying to write a book, a chick lit book. And so she's interviewing all her author friends about how to write and about their first books and about chick lit and about characters. And in each episode, she kind of goes through some sort of story about how she's getting on with her book. And then she finishes each episode with a story, an exercise, a creative exercise. And what I like about this is that it's one of those creative exercises that encourages you to become mindful. And so what I want to do, and we're going to do this together. If you've got some food around you, preferably something like your favorite sweet or your favorite chocolate or something like that, what we're going to do is we're going to put it in our mouths, or I'm going to put it in my mouth, and we're just going to acknowledge the sensations and what comes up for you as you're eating. It might be memories, it might be feelings, it might be thoughts, it might be anything. So undo your wrapper. And just for you, you can hear the wrapper. There's something nice ASMR about that, isn't there? I've got myself a Monty Bojangles truffle, which is one of my favourite sweets. And I'm going to put it in my mouth. So, it's always good to eat food and talk at the same time, isn't it? No, it really isn't. Do not do this at home. Well, I always get off these chocolates. And the reason I love them is the smoothness by which they melt. And that kind of strong bitterness that hits the back of your throat. And gives you that pleasurable sting. In there somewhere is a flavour of a brownie. But like the best brownie you've ever tasted in your life. And when I think of brownies, I think about friends who make brownies, and I think of the brownies that I make and how much I just love that sensation of chocolate. Stacey said, oh, Stacey said earlier about loving chocolate. Stacey's told me off. It's never good to eat food talking at the same time. You're right. So that is yummy, yummy. I'm sorry you're getting all my mouth noises as well. So, today, your activity to help you with your positivity. This act of finding your favorite food and eating it slowly, noting how it feels in your mouth, noticing the flavor, the texture. If you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you'll know what I mean when I say the mouth feel. And just sitting and enjoying and being mindful in that moment. Oh gosh, I love those chocolates. They're so nice. Oh, they're so lovely. They so fit everything. And I kind of then my mind goes into, isn't it interesting how like we have a fit with things? Like for me, that's the most beautiful thing ever. But my friend doesn't like chocolate at all, but she'd do that with cheese. She would love the cheese in that way, in the same way. And if you have a journal, make a note of what comes up for you, because when it comes to finding calm and peace in the world, the things that we are really good at is those things that take our concentration. And so if we can manage our focus and we can manage our concentration and we can take these little islands of time where nothing can get to us, where we're free, where we're relaxed, where we're calm, where no one can change anything at this point. No one can fiddle. I can be left alone and I can be calm and I can feel at one with something. I can have a relationship with something. So whether that be on the paddleboard on the lake where I'm forming a connection with nature, or whether that be eating your chocolate and forming a connection with your food, it'll still release that oxytocin and it'll still release that endorphin that kind of slows you up and feels really good. So let's keep our anxieties, our stresses, our fizzing at bay by taking moments with our food. And so today's activity to keep you positive is to find some food that you love and eat it mindfully, like really mindfully. Okay, then. So that brings me to the end of Positivity Island. Thank you so much for sharing with me today. Will be back with us on Thursday. We'll be here from 9 a.m. Eastern American time on Thursday. Coming up after the show right now, it's Jam and Renee. They're here from 10 a.m. till 12 noon American Eastern time. Then you've got Anthony Davis. You've got your pal Hal. Anthony Davis at 12, your pal Hal at 2, and Mario Smith at 4 p.m. I will be back on Thursday with another hour of Positivity Island for you. Kristen says ta-ta for TTFN, Kate. Ta-ta for now. Enjoy your dog fur yarn, which I'm very, very excited for you about. And yes, I will be back. Oh, let me just see what Gav said. Gav said, thank you, Kate. The most underrated part of food is the mouthfeel. So I will see you soon. And if you want to find out more about everyday positivity, then make sure you're looking for everyday positivity wherever you get your podcasts and on Volley FM as well. And I think that's me done. You have a great day. You have 100% got this.